was your fault, but we got Randy here now.
Thank God someone else can take the blame and get the grief.
Ladies and gentlemen, we
Why so distant?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
Well,
Hey.
well.
How are y'all?
Howdy.
Hey, everybody.
How's everybody tonight?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm apparently going to be buying a new battery for my vehicle in the morning. I'm afraid to find out what
Oh.
batteries cost these days.
About $300.
Oy, oy, oy.
Can't you
I
take
had
one of those? Can't you take that Chins battery and stick it in there?
I
That
thought
100 amp
about
hour
that.
LifePo?
I thought about that, but
Oh,
it's
it's
only
not a
got a
cranking
100 amp
battery.
hour draw, so it's going to smoke the BMS the first time I turn the key. Or actually, on my truck, push the button. Yeah, I had a near moment too because the jumper cables were in the back of the truck and it's an electric tailgate, and I kept putting the code to make the tailgate come down and it'd go. Finally, it let go.
Yeah,
I don't like any of that stuff.
my battery in my Jeep died at the beginning of the pandemic because I didn't drive anywhere for like 3 months. And then I went out and it was dead. Actually, we had two cars that the battery died in. And, I recharged the battery and all that stuff. And it lasted like 2 days and then it was dead again. And so I had to drive up to the Walmart and get me a new battery.
Yeah, that's my plan in the morning. I got it. It jumped. It started right up when I jumped it. Came home, parked the car, turned it on, started right back up. We'll see what it does in the morning.
Well, my pro tip is take the tools and just swap the battery at Walmart and then take the other one right back in and get your $10 credit. Because
Yep.
I've got two batteries sitting in my garage from because I changed them here.
I'll still take them.
Well,
Yeah,
I was
there's
like,
receipt or nothing.
what I was thinking is that if I went up there and they would, I don't have the receipts, but if they wouldn't take them, I would just be like, all right, well, hold a second, I'm gonna run out to the car and get it real quick,
That's
and
right.
then do the Irish
Just
exit.
leave them gone.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's like top notch right there, bro.
Would totally
They'll,
do that
they'll
too.
take them. They'll take them because they get paid for them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They'll
they
give you
get-
the cash too.
What is it, $5 or $10 core charge on those things?
At least.
I don't know. Somebody in the chat, I didn't see who it was because it scrolled by, said he just bought a battery. KK4
It was
PAL.
KK4.
$278, and that's with a military discount.
Wow.
Was that for
He
a
just
Humvee?
He just became a member, so I think that
Oh, congrats, Bill. Let's play him
Oh.
some music and do a little dance.
Well, let's do it. Let's do it.
He needs some milk.
and that's not awkward at all, folks.
Right.
no.
I think I pulled something. I'm not sure. Yeah, so
Man, I pulled something the other day. Whew.
it started up when I got home, so we'll see what it does in the morning.
Jim, you know what that means, right?
What?
You jumpstart that truck and you drive it to the dealership and you just get yourself a new truck.
No. No. No, this truck ain't got enough years on it yet. It's only 3 years old. But it
wow.
does mean that 48
3 years old and the battery went out.
right?
Cars don't
I got-
last 3 years up here, man.
I got like 10 years out of mine.
Out of your factory battery?
Out of my Dodge, yeah, it has two of them, but I mean, it takes two to
Diesel.
start a diesel.
Well, the thing is back in the day, a battery was a dang old battery. Now there are all these crazy different sizes and all this other stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you need to have the PK battery, and that one is that there's an upcharge on that. I'm like, there's upcharge on every effing battery on the shelf, son.
Yes, some of the cars have, they've changed where the batteries go nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
Some of them are under the back
yeah.
seat.
Under
you
the
know.
seat. Yeah.
in the trunk.
Yeah.
But usually they still have a jump start spot under the hood, which is pretty nice.
Yes.
Yeah, so it
So,
needs to be a special battery if it's inside, though, right?
hey, Raphael, Roger. So my wife's car's in the shop because she
I
did
haven't had a
that.
problem with them.
That person hit and ran with her, so we've been
Yeah.
sharing my Jeep. And the other day I go out and I get in the Jeep and I turn it on, and my dash is all in some foreign language. I don't know what it is, Portuguese or something like that. So I turn the radio on and it's in a foreign language. Like, what the hell? But at least they use regular letters. It's not like it's in Korean or something like that. So I was able to figure it out and get it switched back. I get home and I'm like, hey, something happened in the car? And she's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, I got in and the car's in a foreign speaking foreign tongues to me. What's going on there? She's like, Oh, it changed accidentally. I'm like,
She's using-
accidentally.
She's
Because
using
I had to go
shady
like
man.
9 menus deep to get it to switch back to English. I was like,
That's-
that wasn't
that's
like
when
your
you bring it
hand hit the
back.
blinker where you was going around a left-hand turn or something like that. I was like, there was something else going in there. She's like,
Everybody
I don't
knows it takes more to get it back, more menus to get it back than just to change it. Come on, Abe.
Right?
Yeah, no, I'm kind of afraid to change the battery out because I'm like, how much of this crap is going to be all jacked up?
Well, your
know
slow
what you do?
jam, your
You know
slow
what you
jam
do?
channels will get
Right.
erased from memory.
You get another battery
Both
that's
of his
good.
channels are going to be gone.
Get another battery that's good. Hook some wires to it, so you can keep all your voltage on there. And then before you take those off, put it
Yeah.
on the new battery. Then all your memories will still be there.
That's a pro tip
Oh.
right there.
Right.
You could do that with the chins.
Well, see, I basically listen to
Yeah.
Apple Music on the phone, so all I got to do is tell Siri to play classic rock, and we're good.
I don't listen to any music anymore. I'm tired
Well,
of all this
I
crap.
finished all my audio.
Get off my lawn.
I'll be jamming tomorrow. James, that would
We
be
got to talk
great
audiobooks
if I
tomorrow
had
morning,
one.
James.
Audio books.
Tomorrow morning.
What's he?
Yeah. Tomorrow when you're at work, we'll talk audiobooks.
Where you're working for the man.
After the show. Right. When you're playing at the gig.
Down.
So I have to share a little bit of story about working for the man. Bless his heart. And I say that in the true way that I originally told you what it means. He asked me the other day, his wife's iPhone and iPad they're not syncing mail. Okay. Well, what's she using? Well, it's her email won't sync.
Her phone. She's using her phone.
She can't sync her phone and her iPad. To what?
That might not be a bad thing, really.
This has
Just
happened
wondering.
before. And I said, well, I need to see what you're talking about. What app is she using? I don't know. Okay, well, I can't fix it because I don't
She's
know.
using email, son.
Right. So then the next day, he just wanders off because it was already way more complicated. So he just wandered away. And so the next day, he said, so show me what she needs to do on her phone to get the sync working. I said, there is no sync. She's got an app on her phone and an app on her iPad. Probably her password is wrong on one of them and has been since 2 years ago when we went through this. And I told you how to tell her how to do it on her phone when you went home. And he's like, just show me what to do. What app is she using? She has a,
Have her come home. Have her come in
Lord.
for lunch with you one day, and I'll show her right before you guys go.
oh yeah, that'd be awkward. That'd be awkward. So we're
That's
not
why I
gonna do
said it
that.
might not be a bad thing.
It'd be funny. It'd be
See,
hilarious.
we have people who have to change their password, and then they'll call and be like, "Hey, man, my password's locked out. It keeps locking out. I keep resetting it. It keeps locking out." And I'm like, "Hey, do you have any other devices that have your pass credentials synchronized and they're checking mail every 5 minutes and they're hitting the timeout and causing your account to think it's being hacked?" And they're like, "No,
Hey, Simon.
no, I don't." And I'm like, if you come clean now, I'm not going to bitch. But if you don't, I can go right and look at the Authenticator app and I can tell.
Yeah.
And they're like, "No, I don't do that. I don't get my work email and not, and immediately go and be like, okay, well, you got an iPad and it's an old one. You got your 2016 iPad at home. So you probably should upgrade that."
We use Microsoft Authenticator for logging into our O365 stuff. And half of them don't want to use the Authenticator app on their cell phones because they're afraid we'll get them somehow.
Well, you will get them.
Like,
I mean,
Ape's the same way.
Yeah,
wasn't
I don't
gonna
use
admit
it on mine.
That was
Sure
kind of
is.
obvious, but so they
Well-
have it call their desk phone every morning.
Oh, Jody, I like it.
Like it's
Please sign
insanity.
the "I told you so" waiver at the bottom.
Right.
well,
Right.
we had one of the vice presidents of my company. We were in his office trying to sell him. This is years ago, on using Intune and putting it on everybody's personal device or their work device, anything they wanted to get email on. And he's asking the guys, he's like, "If I use this, can you track me?" And they're like, no, we can't track you. And he's like, "So if I just in the middle of the day decide to go to the bar, or the club or something like that, then I'm not going to get tracked." And they're like, no. They're like, "We don't have that feature enabled." And I look at the guy and I was like, "Dude, we can track you right now." I was like, "Every time you check your anything in O365, we get an IP address come back and tell us where you are." It's like, so we can get you in proximity from the cell tower that you're bouncing off of, no problem. And He's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And I was like, and all it takes is one guy to accidentally enable that feature. And then we can watch you driving home, tell how long it takes, tell if you stopped at your girlfriend's house, whatever.
Yeah, but
And,
let me take you aside here, son. We don't care.
Yeah, when
Right.
he got up and came over and hugged me for being honest. And then he yelled at everybody else. He's like, nah, he's a nice guy. And then everybody else,
So you're not opposed to guy hugs, is what I'm hearing. Just saying.
no.
Oh, he's a hugger. I mean, I
Listen,
ran into him
it's-
in Florida. He just couldn't keep his hands off of me.
Hugger.
It's like
He's a hugger.
2023,
He's a
son.
Yeah. Now we have MDM installed on the company phones, and that has geolocation enabled on it.
The stories you've shared in the past make me laugh about that because I
So
can just
some
imagine.
people don't remember that geolocation is enabled. That's all I'm going to
And
say.
they go to the hotel. They go to the hotel with their special friend in the middle of the day, right?
I cannot
hotel
confirm or
everybody.
deny. So
Right.
he's only there 10 minutes, but he was there. I'm like, son, 10 minutes? Really?
10 minutes. He gave her the best 2 minutes that he had. They spent 8 minutes talking about it.
Right.
he,
Oh, my
spent,
Lord.
he spent 4 minutes checking in, 2 minutes working, 4 minutes checking out.
Right.
Yeah, LC, that's exactly right. Woo. Okay. Wow, the squirrels are rampant in here tonight.
I was going to say, are we on topic or off topic? I don't know.
No, I
don't think we have to be, do we?
Listen,
We're off or right.
if you guys out there in the chat land have ham related questions,
Apologizing.
squirrel related questions, feel free to drop them in the chat with a giant question up by it, and we'll get to them. Because
I gave her the best 2 minutes of my life and the best 8 minutes of apologizing afterwards.
right. Yeah.
And I wish I could go camping this weekend. If I knew some guys who were going camping, that's all.
You don't know anybody's going camping this weekend?
No.
Fuck, I got plenty of land up here. Most of it's underwater right now, but you're welcome to come.
Water or snow?
Freaking ducks move in.
Is the snow gone?
I mean, it used to be snow. Now it's a pond. We actually literally have ducks that have moved into our property.
Oh, wow.
Just hanging out.
They're just like,
Right.
oh, pond. Whoosh.
Are they those Canadian ducks or are they real ducks?
Well, they're moving back from down here too. So.
They're not naturalized citizens of Canada. No. No, they're actual ducks.
We have geese. The neighbor's pond has geese, and they're bold. They walk around. I mean, they go
Oh,
3
geese
or
will
4
attack
houses. Well, they're not attacking me or anything, but I mean, like the
Yeah,
pond
Ken,
is
new pond.
the pond is 3 houses down, country houses down. So not like HOA houses down.
you. Right.
So it's probably a quarter of a mile or so, half a mile. I've had geese walking. We ain't got a pond, and we got geese walking through the yard. Hell, I saw them walk across the road to go to the creek on the other side of the road. I thought I was going to see a goose get whacked. But yeah,
Yeah, I don't know about those Canadian geese. Those things are mean. we have a big lake here,
Everybody.
and they hired some guy. He goes up there with a couple of border collies to chase them all the time. So because they
They don't
poo
allow those in
everywhere.
the HOA.
Yeah, they poo everywhere. So they let the dogs chase the geese off, but it doesn't work.
They come back.
Yeah,
Not
come
gonna
right
stay
back
out
as soon
there
as the
so
dog.
long.
As soon as the dog's gone.
Don is trying to get us down to business. We'll talk to Raphael first, though. Raphael, what's up?
Raphael, they don't send the National Guard. They send the full-time military after the geese.
There we go. So Don has a question. He's trying to actually make a topic out of this. I don't know. Struggling with mast mounting a 1 1/4 inch push-up map to a 1 inch diameter mount point on the hex beam. The outer diameter of the hex beam is 1.5 inches. That sounds like a question for Chuck.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. You're not
Pass.
using one of those. You're not using what type of mast? You know what kind of mast he likes? Gosh. So
Well, he's saying
struggling it's a 1 1/4 push-up mast, I guess, to a 1 inch inner diameter mount point on. Yeah, just stick a piece of. He's trying to, but this is a full size
And he
home
said it's
one, huh?
Roan H30 mast.
I have to think about that. Just
Well, you
find
need
some, just find some.
You just need a
solid pipe
coupler that
or
fits
something.
on one
that'll go
1
inside.
1/4 on one side, 1 inch on the other, right?
Well,
Well,
I
yeah,
like
it's
to
one of the-
overlap personally, at least 6 inches. If you could find whatever will go inside that and try to get it inside the. It's 1 1/4 on the push up, and 1 inch inner diameter, so it needs to go smaller. You just need to find something that'll fit inside the push up pole that'll fit in the other one. It may not
Take
be
that
tight.
top
maybe
section of the
just-
mast out and go down the hardware store and spend about 7 or 8 hours there.
or
Lawn
Yeah,
making
yeah.
on it. Exhaust
yeah,
pipe.
but
reducer coupling.
you want a little bit of overlap though. That's the thing. You never want to just put like like an inch up there and then an inch above, and
2 inches of
Just be
strain. You want like
strong.
6 inches of strain.
yeah, most of those push-up poles lap six inches at least.
Yeah. Yeah, I have that fiberglass one
Or
from Gigaparts, and it's got
or find a piece that goes over both of them.
Yeah.
Like he was talking the
Sleeve it.
yeah,
Listen, if this is his carbon fiber mast, the right answer is throw that in the trash and get yourself a non-carbon fiber
See, I
mast.
set you up.
Get
there
off
for
my
that earlier.
lawn.
that's right.
Yeah, go
So,
to outer
so Glenn's
diameter.
got a question for us. What's the most outrageous claims you have seen on YouTube about ham radio? This is the best radio of 2023.
Oh,
No,
yeah,
man,
today.
the
Did I do
crap
that
top
today?
stuff.
I did
What's
say
wrong with the
best.
crap top?
There was no outrageous.
Everybody
What
saying-
outrageous claims were made about the crack top?
People claiming it was the best laptop for ham radio.
I think their
So
claim
what
was
is the
more
best
as the
laptop
best
for ham
laptop.
radio?
I think the claim was more it's best laptop for $60.
Well, I don't know about
Nah,
that.
bah, 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 bah. Yeah.
The thing is that the crap top is a fine laptop if you want to run off a 12-volt battery and play FT8 outside.
And that was the thing.
No,
Man.
no, but the thing is that ham radio encompasses more than that.
Oh, T-Ray jumps to the head of the line.
Yeah, he does.
He needs some milk.
I get that too.
UMM.
Yeah, it's just like interference or something like
It's-
that. Or
If you watch the videos on my channel, it's actually people that are running their tuners. Because the IC7300, for example, will tune at 100 watts. SWR scan, sorry, not tune. And the G90 will do an SWR scan continuously at 20 watts. And the X6100 will do it continuously at 10 watts. And the Nano VNA will do it at what, half a watt, Ape?
yeah, I think it's even less than that. But the thing is that most people, when they're running their SWR scan, I mean, some people scan the whole band, so that can take place. But I'll see
I
it
do.
across an entire band. But I'm just assuming it's the washer, the dryer starting up and making some kind of goofy noise or something like that. I don't know. It's like it's interference. I don't know exactly what it is or what
Could be a
causes it.
tuner.
The tuner
might have
canon
something
seems
there.
to be a legitimate.
I think
thing.
SWR sweep is probably more than a tuner, right?
Sweep,
Because a tuner,
yeah, sweep.
you don't
Tuner's
tune.
one's yeah, it's
I
one
misspoke.
frequency.
I misspoke. I meant to say scanner.
Yeah, I think you're right
Yeah.
on the scanner.
I got excited.
Well, it's an exciting topic.
It is. It is. Next up from James. James says, we have had them land next to cooling towers on the roof and not get enough speed to get up. Wait, what? Let's talk
That
about
was
ducks again.
That was a goose question, a goose
Nope,
statement
goose
that I
is-
thought was worthy.
Somebody starred that and I just read it.
I did it. Worked. Yes. So apparently the geese kamikaze in if they don't get enough takeoff speed.
That's what you got to do.
I'll tell you, man. So I did a video this week on that MFJ power supply, and it stirred some emotion, almost as much as a crimping video. Not the one with the broken fan, but the other one. And everybody was like, you didn't test to see if that was dirty. That you could be riding dirty with that. And yes,
Oh.
that could be true. The switching power
that
supplies
video.
generally are more dirty than linears.
I've never heard mine on anything, but hey, send me. You know what? Send me that fan that you took out if you still have it, and I'll fix it and I'll do a video on that.
On the fan,
Yeah.
I got it right here.
That's
Now,
what I fix.
oddly enough, when I hook it up outside of the
Enclosure.
yeah, it's perfectly quiet. But it could be because I'm doing it with a 9-volt battery. So just give me 1 second here.
So there's usually a little sticker covering the motor. And if you drop some 3-in-1
Eric.
oil or some sewing machine oil down there,
I like
lube up them bearings.
LSA will work too. Yep.
I like
That's just wind noise.
that's the one noise there.
Yeah, that's wind noise. It's not making that other noise that it was when it was in the machine.
I like synthetic oil. I've got like some motorcycle oil that using it in the bikes. Just drop a little of that on there.
$9
I
oil.
fixed one. I fixed one time. It was kind of power supply I was told not to really use, but I did anyhow. And by Abe, he didn't like it.
Good
But I
point,
fixed
Raphael.
it. They sent me a new fan, and I just kept the old fan. Who knows where it's at now? But
It's not a tuna.
it was
All
way
right,
easier
let's
just
take
to
a
put a little
poll.
oil
Who
in there.
crimps and solders and who just crimps?
Well, hold on. Thumb's saying that fans are cheap, and I highlighted the wrong comment. No, they ain't. That Noctua, man, that was $16.
Yeah.
$16 for a fan. Wow,
And because I want to be like Ape when I grew up, I got 2 of them for my power supply.
that's like 2 good beers or a 6-pack of Miller.
If Miller Lite cost $1 per can,
That's a
it's about the
suitcase
average
of
price.
Miller.
That's a suit. That's an 18-pack.
That's a
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a Saturday night full of fun for Ape.
And I bet with all the supply and demand changes here recently, Miller's going for real cheap.
Well, it's probably going to be harder to find these days because a lot of people are switching brands.
Right?
I couldn't imagine switching beer brands. That would be the worst.
You couldn't?
You've been married to that beer for what, 70 years now?
A long time.
Longer than your old lady?
Yeah. I drank Miller Lite before I met her.
So Geek with a Side of Nerds asking about the QT40. Will we see reviews before the pre-order expires? So this is kind of funny. They reached out to me and they said, would you like to review this radio? We'll get you a special one shipped out right before the announcement goes live and you'll be the first one to review it and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that would be fantastic. I'm super excited about a 10-meter radio at the beginning of the solar cycle climbing up. It's going to be a fantastic thing because the 10-meter band is like wide open right now. And it's not here, and they've already done the release. So, like,
the
I
release
don't
was
know.
today, right?
Yeah, I don't know anything about. I mean, I know some stuff about the radio, and I think it's going to be a good radio. There's going to be a lot of people that like
What
it.
is
There's
it?
going to be a lot of
10
people
meter?
that hate it. 10-meter. It's like it's like the Anytone Aries 2.
It's
but
exactly like the Anytone
slightly-
Aries 2.
It's exactly like it, but just like 3% different.
That's the CB looking one that we were talking about the other day, right?
Yeah.
I think it's the
I
exact
couldn't
same.
remember
It's
the
the exact
model.
same radio. It's an export 10-meter radio, Chuck.
So why would you be all excited about that? Just
Oh,
to
so
run
it's a
10 meters
CB.
in your car without a whole HF rig?
Well, so if they priced it right, and I think the price is like $199, is that right?
It is.
Then what you're getting is a 10-meter rig that you can, legitimately use for DX today for $200, as opposed
Okay.
to going out and spending, $1,000 on a 100-watt HF base station. This is like get your feet wet money. This is like,
So-
oh, do I like this money? And then
So
yes,
if
you
you're
do,
in-
and you.
If you're a new technician and you're not fired up about general yet because you look at that test, that is a hell of a deal. I didn't think about it that
Yeah.
way, but that's a great
Yeah,
thing.
I think part of the challenge with it though is that if you don't have experience with CBs or export radios, you're going to have a chance. The people who are going to buy that radio are CBers who are going to want to do the mod on
Exactly.
it and run 50 watts, right, to drive their 4-pill with no problem.
Is it a 50-watt radio?
Yeah, it's about 50 watts.
Ed said that's a keg of Miller Lite. Could very well
Yeah,
be.
keg of Miller Lite's it's actually cheaper to buy it by the can if you can believe that.
It's their economies of scale of production on the cans versus the kegs. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Look at me. I know all about Miller Lite. Bud Light's
So,
only 10 cents a can. You paying
know,
too much, son?
Tio, if you knew somebody that worked at that place, and it was nearby, like just a couple minutes away, maybe they'd let you look in the back storeroom and do a review of it.
Yeah, they would. But, the nearest place, like what you're talking about, is 5 hours away.
I was going to say, there ain't one up there by you anywhere, is there?
It's
What are you talking about?
the other corner, HRO. The other
They
corner,
don't sell them. They don't sell them at HRO.
he's talking about a couple of things. He's making lots of references, and I picked up on 100% of them.
You did.
Pick it up on
You're
what
so
you're putting
quick.
down, son.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like that
I
Aries
need to
2
try
hasn't
that.
been cleared for U.S. use.
hasn't?
No. So
It's-
Radio Oddity's the
It's
first
not
company.
100% like the Aries 2. It's very, very close. It's the
What's
Aries
the
2
what's the
plus
difference?
or minus. The Aries 2 has a data port on the front and not a USB port on the back, and the Radio Oddity has a USB port on the back and not a data port on the front. But I think the data port's only for programming, not like a USB sound card or AF out.
Yeah, there was like 6 or 7 different pre-releases of the Aries 2.
Yeah.
Oh, was there?
Yeah, so there was a lot of them. So like, I don't even think you can buy Aries. Like, they a lot of folks, and I think it's only a few months old. Like I think they announced it like 3 months ago or something. The Aries 2, and in England, and a lot of folks in England were bent out of shape about it when it came out because it's channelized radio and it didn't have all of the UK frequencies
All the British
programmed
frequencies
into
channeled.
wow.
it. Yeah, so like there's a CPS that you can use to.
I mean,
to
I kind of
program.
want one. I don't know why exactly, but
This is new and shiny, and this one's really shiny. It's all
Pretty
chrome.
much.
Yeah.
well,
You got a
and
picture of it?
James said it looks
Let's
like
see
something in your dad's truck from the 70s. Son, apparently I'm old enough to be your dad because it was something like that was
Whoa.
in my truck in the 70s. Well, it was actually my VW Bug. I couldn't afford a truck.
The difference, Don, is it's about half the price.
Which Don's
Yes,
question?
Ed, he could
Oh.
absolutely hawk that
Oh, wow.
radio on Tuesdays. It would be an excellent tech starter HF radio. That was a good point the fellas made. So we had a question Raphael was asking,
There it is.
is there Vera HF traffic on 10 meters?
There can be. It could be you.
Yeah,
Looks
I was
like
gonna say, I don't-
my Galaxy radio. Sort of. Sorry, I'm looking.
there's no restrictions against that. I mean, so
Let's pull up a picture of this thing. I think it's a nice looking radio,
Yeah.
but I
Let
like
me
that
get it.
CB. I like that CB look on radios.
it does scream 1970s.
Early access.
I mean,
7 days early.
like I'm saying, it will go with the 8-track. Like Jody said, it'll go with the 8-track in Izzo's El Camino.
You know, I had a buddy of mine loaned me a 10-meter radio for a while, and it was pretty nice. It was a Ranger or
The
RCI.
Rangers are nice.
RCI. Of course, it did other things than just, 10 meters. Well, they sell most of those in 10 and 12, don't they?
This one can do 10 and 12,
Does it?
and by default 11.
Yeah, you'll be able to open it up. That's not it. That's a different radio.
That's not it.
Why did they not put pictures of it up?
I've got it. It's got pictures.
They do. They did. They tweeted a picture about it today.
Now Scott is saying that it's
That's it right there.
an FM
right
only
there.
radio, which techs can't use.
It's not FM only.
No, it's
I would've-
FM,
No, it'll-
AM, USB, and lower,
Yeah.
upper and lower sideband.
What it doesn't have is CW.
So I'm trying to figure out if that's actually a real VFO or if that's channelized. It looks channelized,
It's channels. It's channels.
but they
It's
could.
100% channel. Here, but make
See
it
the
big.
band
I'll
switch?
explain
See the
it
band
to you.
switch?
Plus it up. It's 100% channelized. But the thing is that if you take a look at the second knob that's in, I think it says like FW and RFG or fine.
FIN and
So
RFG.
that fine originally was a clarifier, which gave you 5 hertz up and down that you could tune in if you're trying to talk to somebody who's got a drifty signal, right? But what they did is that in one of the revisions of the Aries 2, they made a firmware update that gives you 500 kilohertz of clarification on there. So with the channel space 10 kilohertz apart, you can tune it to each one. Like you can tune it to the middle of the channel spacing right there. But that where it says 01, that 100% is channel 1. Now, with these export radios, what they do is they squeeze a whole bunch of what they call bands in there. It's not really a band. But see that A, B, C, D, E, and F?
Oh, congrats, Aaron.
Each one of those is a different bank of channels. So you can program 40 channels for
You get
each
some
one of
names
those.
for that.
Congratulations, Aaron.
See my
Aaron,
head
way to
checking.
go. That's awesome, dude.
So
Sparta!
so six times 4 is what? 200 and 6 times 4 is 24, and you have that many banks, and then when you look up, there's a band switch, a dip switch. It says high, low, and WX. So you have A high and A low, which would be 80 channels on bank A, and so now you have 80 times 6, which is 48. Right? So you have 480 channels that you can have there. Now, good effing luck remembering the 480 channels and what frequencies they are across the
Right.
across the 10-meter band.
The width of 10 meters, yeah.
It'd be just like this
Well-
radio right here.
It's like shifting a car that's got the overdrive switch on it from the '60s. You have like three different versions of first gear and three different versions of second gear and three different versions of third gear, and they all kind of overlap just a skosh.
Yep.
You could, I mean, it could be that you put it on channel 1 on band A on high position, and that's 28,000, and then you do it on O2, and that's 28,100 or something like that. So you could climb up the band really slowly, but that's really annoying. Somebody will have a mod for this thing real soon to put a real VFO on it.
I mean, I think I'm gonna buy one. If nothing else, I'm gonna put it on the Spectrum Analyzer and see what it looks like on there. That ought to be entertaining.
Yeah. So this little spot here, right below the RX-TX light, the Aries 2 from Anytone has a 3.5 millimeter jack there for data, and I don't know what data signals are present because I don't have one of those, but that's what
That
that
could be
spot is there
interesting.
for.
Yeah, I think that was the earlier ones. I think that if you go to Anytone's website, it looks like that. It looks just like this one now.
Well, there's ways to do it. I've got a Cobra 29.
Plus
No, actually,
that back. Let's look at the hind end of the thing.
Oh,
So this is the data jack I was talking about on the backside. Of course, it's micro USB.
Right.
And no, that's mini USB.
That's
Sorry,
mini,
micro's the
son.
newer one.
Yeah.
I know. I just said that. So this is for programming your channels, not for like it's not a USB sound card like we would really, really, really want.
right.
And then this is a PA because every mobile radio that's CB like has to have a PA built in. And then external speaker, and then a weird 3-pin power plug, which isn't weird for CBers. It's weird for ham radio. And then your SO239.
It looks like a Cobra plug, kind of.
Yeah, it is.
It actually looks more like a Cobra than it does the Galaxy. The
Don
Galaxy's
wants to
all
know
black.
why the QT40 over a Striker 10 meter.
Yeah, I was saying it earlier. The Striker's like $500.
Oh,
So
well, there's a
that's
good
fine.
reason right there. Ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding. Okay.
That's like 300
the-
good reasons.
Anytone makes the Anytone 6666, which is a pretty sweet. It's a pretty sweet export radio if you're into that kind of thing.
I should pull my RCI out one day and use it.
No. RCB is down in the 11 meter band.
But we have FRS though, right?
Well, yeah, not technically CB, but yeah, FRS. MERS doesn't require a license either, does it? I don't think it does.
It does not.
Yeah. So there are channelized FM, anybody can yak on it frequencies. CB is AM.
AM. Well, you could do AM, FN, and sideband on CB now.
Okay. Is the FM thing that's in now?
Yeah,
I knew it was coming. I didn't know when it happened because I'm not a CB guy. So not since Smokey and the Bandit went off the air.
I did. I spent a while, a couple of months ago, looking really hard for a 10 meter only radio that you could have an external sound card or a really easy connection
Derek?
to do digital modes. And I thought that would be a lot of fun to have right now at the beginning of the solar cycle. But nobody really makes one that's easily adaptable to get on digital modes or anything like that.
Colin says that the Aries 2 latest firmware will scroll the frequency through the channel readout. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, it does, but it's a compromise, right? So like what you do is you press the A and B button on the top of the microphone, and what it'll do is it'll display 2 digits of your frequency at a time in that little window.
That seems painful.
I can do that on my Cobra 140 or 141, whatever it is. Side down one. It's got all that stuff done to it. So there's ways to do it.
Yeah, I'm sure you'd have to mod
But
it.
they drift like a 9700 then. You have to like be constantly moving them.
Look at you harshing on ICOM. Like you're a Yaesu
Well.
fanboy or something.
I got everything. Well, I got one of everything.
I mean,
At
I
least.
know ICOM has the OVF light, but at least we don't have the drift. So there's that.
The 9700 is, I mean,
Well, it drifts.
our buddy Hayden has done a video on that.
but I mean,
How bad
it
it
drifts. It's a minute amount of drift that you're getting on that 9700.
Yeah, but when you're
too.
working satellites, you can't have a minute.
Right, and
It's gotta be
respectfully
exact.
to everybody watching and part of this, how many of y'all work satellites at 1.2 gigahertz?
Right. Without a 10 meter reference.
Right.
10 megahertz reference.
Right.
I meant megahertz.
I got to pull that RCI out and use it.
K0LFX. I have heard somebody with the squeal, but I don't know what that is about. The D-Star reflector for Toads is sitting out in my shop right now. We had a 2.5-hour power outage last night. I don't know how long the UPS stayed up.
So it's fixed. Rebooted it fixed.
Should have.
So somebody was saying earlier that techs don't have privileges on FM on 10 meters.
That's right. Somebody did say that. I don't remember who.
So you can do RIDIA and data in the red portion. That's 28,000 to 28,300.
You got to we got a comment on there. That's why I can't see. Here you go.
And then, I can't scroll down any further. I'm at the bottom of the screen here. And then from 28.3 to 28.5, you can do SSB phone only, and then they're locked out of the rest of the portion. So, 10 meter data is where it's at for techs on that radio.
I think you should get one. Oh, you're getting one, aren't you, Tio? It said pre-order, so you may still get it early.
I have one coming here. It's in the mail.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I posted in our chat there about it.
You might have. I don't remember.
I usually ignore stuff like that because they don't.
Well, usually you come in like after we've had a discussion for 30 or 40 minutes, like
I actually,
the other night.
actually have a real job,
and then go what? Or he goes what?
Where I can't look at my computer all day.
Right.
I check in like every couple hours.
Oh, let's see what else we got out of here. There was a lot of. Let's see.
Yeah.
So
Anime says she's hyping the G90.
Oh yeah. So this is a good question though. Is the G106 going to be a better radio for 10 meters because of the price tag and the extras compared to this QT40?
Well, to your point, and I think you make a good one. $200. I don't see you getting 50 watts on 10 meters for $200.
Right.
So I think
So? Oh, you don't think it's going to do that?
No. I'm saying I don't see where you would get an alternative for $200.
Oh.
Like if you were going to do FT8 and you built this, you'd have to build an audio interface for the microphone jack, right? Is what you would have to do. If you built that and then you hooked it up to your laptop or something like that, that's $200, and that's called $25 for the audio interface.
Is there a donkey in there with you, Chuck?
It sounded like somebody throwing up. He's on mute.
Dogs honking up.
A little Chihuahua donkey. He was
throwing up a squirrel,
coughing along.
Theo, pull up the President Ronald there. Don is
trying to find it now.
Mentioning that.
I was actually busy when you guys were bringing up the QT40. I never got the chance to even look at it.
I tend to agree with you, JT. That 866 is a nice radio.
The 6666.
What did I say? 860? Yeah, the 6666.
And the 5555 is a good radio too, I think.
Well, ultimately the 8888 is better. Bigger number.
Well,
you with your math skills.
10
Well,
is even better.
that 6666 is like the first one that really posed a threat to the sales of the Strikers. Like everybody was like, "Hey, no, this is the Striker killer."
What's that one? Oh, that's just a.
I think I have that CB.
Can you plus that up there, Stephen?
I can, Jimmy.
I think I have that
because y'all keep dropping James at me.
I'm just giving it back to you. Number of channels 2. It's a 2-channel radio. That doesn't seem right.
Sparky, plus it up, son. That's so tiny.
I did, but that's not
I know
the
you're
right
used to
window.
hearing that, but we can't see
Nice.
that.
You got to
Nice,
finesse it.
nice.
So the thing is that one has the frequency counter on the display.
Give me a second. Time's up. I was plussing up the wrong window. StreamYard is hard.
Can't get good help.
50 watts, AM, FM, no SSB, 7-color display, DW. Hi, Jim. DW. I don't know what
button.
I don't know what DW is. Number of channels 2. Age range adult. It's an adult toy.
50 watts on that, huh?
Yeah.
So it's a CB.
And,
Does that say
you
it's
can
10
buy
meter?
this and some resistors.
Ray's like, why is somebody buying those
It's
resistors?
10 meters. I wonder what they're doing inside that radio. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about what
So
the rear panel looks like.
it doesn't do sideband?
So what's funny
No,
is
no
I was
side
looking at on Amazon electric junction boxes, and it was like people often buy this, and it was a T240 43 Toroid with the electrical junction box. They're making balance, right?
That radio's only 35 watts out, man.
DW is dual watch. Hey, that makes sense.
40 watts.
Yeah.
Dual watch, yeah. I thought you said that was 200 watts.
President Camacho. That would be awesome, Brian.
Right.
That one, nobody said that one was 200. I don't think.
Oh, which one were you saying for 200?
I said it was $200 for the
Oh, 200
QT40s.
bucks.
For the QT40.
bucks.
That one, the dead president was 149.
My little Ranger,
And
my Ranger back there will do 35.
Nice. So just in case you were curious, this is not a CB. This is the President Lincoln.
Ooh, that's pretty.
Yeah, people love that radio.
Yeah.
It's got CW on it.
So
That's important when you're driving down the road.
That's RF powered. That's what it says. RF power. 5 meter.
Well, they say RF power means that you can see your RF power output on the screen.
Same as the Lincoln 2, but 12-meter band added. Channel 19.9 key replaced by emergency channel 1 or 2. That's important. Rotary switch, VFO mode with continuous scanning. PA, got to have that PA. Dual watch. See, they spelled out dual watch. They weren't cheaping out on the Amazon.
Paying for per letter probably.
You know
for
that PA back in the 70s brought the ladies around your car. I'm just saying.
I had one, and I thought it
that
was the
wolf call?
awesomest thing in the world because I would drive around and I'd be talking mess. And it was fantastic. I had that. I had the horn. I had the play like 48 different sounds that you could play. Like Dixie, I had that on there, and then I could play whatever.
Play a
There's
lot
the
of
Cobra
Dixie in
29.
Nebraska.
Yeah, man.
Man,
It's a lot like that.
my first car
Brand New
stereo cost
Radiotti.
as much as my dang car did.
Yeah, see, it looks a lot like that. Is that a Cobra?
Yeah,
That's
it's
the is that a 29?
Yep, 29 limited
Looks
classic.
identical. Looks identical.
Yeah, I think it's slick that it has that interface.
I can't tell if it's so retro that it came back around the corner and it looks good again, or if it's just
The only thing different is the two little
avocado
lights.
green stove in your mom's kitchen.
How much is this thing? Because these old Cobras sell for a fortune. 139.
39.
That's-
This is
that's
brand
Hold on,
new.
old one.
hold on, I'll be right back. Just kidding.
If your mic connector's not on the side, it's no good. That's all I've heard.
So this 4-pin connector here on this radio, what is it? It's obviously ground, push to talk, and your microphone. But what's the extra pin?
Power, audio, ground, and PTT.
Power. Okay.
Sometimes they have to be plugged in.
Yeah.
Some radios.
I was hoping it had a speaker mic.
I think some of my CBs actually have a 5-pin connector.
Oh, yeah, they
You
do.
have a bunch of CBs?
I got a bunch of CBs. I do.
Man, my dad had 2 or 3 old CBs from like the 50s or 60s that I don't know what happened to them. I'm sure my mom got rid of them in a garage sale for $3 or something. After
My
I
dad
moved
had
out, they were big, like about 2U in height, the size of
Yeah, some of them old ones are
like a
are
base?
monster size.
Base station.
Yeah.
big, closer to the size of your HF radio.
Your 991A.
Yeah, not your slender boy like a G90, but like a honker.
So April, this
And they were all-
QT40
they were all
arrives at your
tube.
shack.
I wish I had kept those. But
When this QT40 arrives at your shack, we're gonna have to do a live stream, see if we can contact each other on 10 meters.
we'll do it.
Yeah, man, we can do that.
Oh, you're gonna do that.
I'll break the RCI
You
out,
gotta get a
man.
license first, son.
No, not on an export radio.
You don't have to get
Yeah,
a license
yeah.
on an export radio.
He'll use,
Dude,
he'll use his export call sign.
Some of the CBers do not give a F where they're transmitting. They'll be like, go on that in a 10.
Breaker, this is Big 8 in Nebraska.
They don't give a damn.
Hey, that thing comes with a mounting bracket too. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, some
Oh, it's
radios
sort-
don't
oh.
come with that.
Now that's the QT
Well,
is
some ham
pre-released
radios
yet,
don't.
right? It's not available.
It's not available yet.
The QT. That's quiet. It's a quiet radio.
Re-release.
I guess I'll have to wait until you got a discount code for it.
Right away, man. $15 off.
Sweet.
And I think they're bundling a $20 gift card for a future purchase with it, too.
They are. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Cool. Cool. I could buy yet another low-end radio for something.
It shows original price is $199 and the sale price is $199. Oh, plus the $20 gift.
The most outrageous claim of ham radio this year is that this is a good radio. That's the most.
The Quansheng?
Yeah.
Gosh, dang.
Or it's presently agree.
I haven't tested one, so I'll remain
I was listening
silent
to Super Bowl the
on
other
the
day.
Quan shit.
Shit, I like it. Yeah. What, Chuck? You said something.
I said I was listening to the Super Bowl the other day. It was coming across my buddy. I was waiting for my buddy. He was getting something out of the house and his CB in there, and I clipped up on. This is the only thing I could find on CB at all, and those guys were going at it, man.
Well, I fired mine up a couple weeks ago, and I couldn't believe how far away I was hearing folks on CB. It was more than I've ever heard, but I think part of that solar cycle. But then a lot of those CB guys are running some juice. You know what I mean? They're not playing around.
I made Australia on a stock radio, on that stock Galaxy back there. The black one
that's
right
awesome.
there. Right there. That was with a good antenna.
What's that one? What's the one on the bottom?
That's a Cobra 29, I think.
Looks like he's got a front-facing mic.
I
board,
bought
though.
CBHTs for the
It's
Wi-Fi
night watch.
line
Night watch too. You don't want a night watch one either.
30 years ago, and they
But I learned that all later.
probably bought them at Radio Shack.
You should sell that.
25-mile range.
Get a good one.
I got to be able to in the motorhome.
Them some bitches didn't even work a quarter mile down the road.
Radiodity's telling me right now. I've looked at it and it's still available if you want it. It's just got the.
I wonder how many they're getting.
It's still available.
Which one of you boys owned a D104? I don't know, Don. It was before my time.
I do not
I
have
do
a
not.
D104, but I've
I
got
don't even know what that is, Don.
I've got a good one. It's a microphone. Oops, that's not it.
A mic so nice they named it.
Well, they all
Oh.
have names. We just don't care.
Right. That's a fancy microphone.
So this
It's not
is
like it's an A-static.
this
Yeah,
is
the
a
A-statics.
Turner plus 3. It's a little dirty. This is a really good mic. They also made it in a mobile setup too. It was really good. My dad had one, and he also had a SBE radio, which SBE wasn't as well known as other manufacturers, but the difference in those radios, I think they were made down in San Jose area. They were all the components in them were like all high quality compared to a lot of the other radios, and they're hard to find. And my dad had a sideband one. And I, at the time, I didn't really know what sideband was. I knew you were allowed 12 watts on sideband, though. So I was like, I need one of those.
And T-Ray's got a Silver Eagle.
Silver Eagle,
Nice.
yeah. This thing here's really, I should take the, I did take the battery out of it.
So
I
this
got a lot
is
of compliments on this one, on my voice out of this.
a lot of
bad boy.
CB tonight. So how
No, we're
drop
talking-
a
we're
one in
talking
the-
10
drop a
meters.
one
What are
in
you
the
talking about?
chat if y'all are into CB. Who all's into CB in the chat? Apparently most.
Well, I think everybody's had a brush in with it at least. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean mine was when I was like in high school, but
I like listening to them. I think they're funny.
Yeah, they're hilarious.
This here's the rubber duck.
well, yeah, I mean when I was messing with CB, it was my dad's old set, and I mean it was so that would have been 77 or 78, and it was chaos. It was the Wild Wild West. And right when I started messing with his CBs, the FCC made the license requirement free, but you had to get a license.
Right.
Yeah, you're supposed to just send in.
Yeah, and I did. I don't remember. I think I remembered it. I might
I don't
remember
think they
what
even
it is.
require
but
that anymore.
I don't think they keep track of them anymore. And
What I told you
and
a
then they
story
dropped-
about my
they dropped-
buddy.
Then they dropped the whole thing sometime later. I don't remember when.
I told you a story about my buddy. He was like 10, 11 years old, and he was installing little amplifiers inside people's radios for him, and the cops came to the door and asked him to quit doing that.
Yeah, you did tell me that. That's hilarious.
Yeah. It's kind of a cool little setup. It mounts right inside the radios. And it gets you about 50 watts, I think. Something like that, 25, 50 watts.
I mean, they had all the mods that you could get for that. Like you had the talkback and an echo board, and
The swing kits, because you wanted your audio to swing.
Reverb.
Yeah, and even back in the 70s, those guys were running thousands of watts.
Oh, yeah.
There was a couple local guys. Whenever they keyed up, it pretty much blanked out 3 or 4 channels on either side of wherever they were at.
the other day I was
everybody's
watching
TV.
a video where this guy was building 1,000 amp power supply to run his 16 pill. So could you imagine 1,000 amps? Like how he was the power cables were like 2 gauge, and they were getting to 180 degrees.
That's 12 kilowatts.
Well, I gave you the name of that guy yesterday.
That's 12 kilowatts. Holy
Yeah.
Jesus!
Throwing plasma.
What was that
I mean,
guy
that's pushing some juice.
How do you?
I mean,
run that
that's
off
where
your car?
your whole neighborhood gets a brownout because you're doing that.
dual amplifier or dual alternators.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got to have more alternators than a fire
And they're
truck
not-
on that
and
kind of
they're
crap.
2 alternators. No, you're talking like 6.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, a
the
lot
guy
of guys
yesterday,
just huge
too,
battery
but they were
tanks in the
they
back.
weren't the same as they were more like one that came in a semi. They're huge.
Yeah, you had 1 to run the car, and then you had another 5 to run your radio.
Yeah.
God Almighty. You know, and it's not like they're doing RF exposure documentation.
Exactly. We have said CB enough times in a row, and Cyboom should be here by now.
Right. I can't believe he's missing this.
Yeah. Where is he?
Should have called him.
JT's right. Like you 12 batteries in the back of the truck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I went to a competition one time up in I was up where's that at? Up near just up north of me. And one of the guys actually had like dual antennas. He had antennas like you would for hooked together in a line. And it was real scientific. They get some guy with this radio and he'd listen and look at how much power they hit him with, they were just like across the valley, but
That's what matters, though.
it was kind of interesting. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I'm sure some of those guys were like pegging his needle, and it wasn't like
So
there
if
was
you were
a
gonna
lot of
stick-
in between.
If you're going to stick a CB unit in the
Unit.
house, unit,
Mm-hmm.
what kind of antenna would you stick up at home
5/8
in a base
5/8 wave.
situation for
Yeah,
running
5/8
CB?
whip.
5/8 vertical at as high as you can get it.
It's like a 101 inch whip or something like that.
Yeah, that's right.
That works too.
No ground plane, no nothing.
No
But they
poise.
usually have a ground plane to them. It's built
But
on.
dude, some of these CB guys, they're building helix antennas and quads and all that other shit. I mean, they definitely do not F around.
There was a guy.
So
There's a
a
guy that's going to build me a
DX Commander
quad
ought to
one
work
time.
on CB fairly well.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
so
well.
you're talking about the whip right here. This will do it.
That is the whip. Is that an orange whip?
Don, I had 11 millimeter or 11 meter moxon. Believe me, I did.
Nope.
It worked
Bingo.
good.
But you could do it. You could use anything. You could just cut your end fed half wave for 11
Yeah.
meters.
For
Now,
11 meters.
local stuff. Like if you're trying to talk
Hams,
to
we know how
guys
to make antennas.
in the same area, verticals worked really good. My moxon did not work very good to local guys, but when I went across the country, it worked really well.
So
It was
I
too
see an
much for here.
opportunity for coffee and ham radios right here. The
We had somebody buy the Apollo,
Cortina 11.
and they asked if it would work on 11 meters. I'm like, sure.
Let's make a 10, 11, 12 link dipole.
There you go. There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
So Chuck, what is we're getting close to cutoff time here, I guess, but
Yes, there are. Cascadia.
what are you guys up to? Charles, what's going on with you? What are your projects?
My next project. Well, I did a video today, but my next project is to get our new 9-to-1 antennas out. I've got a bunch of wires wrapped already. I posted a picture in Toads.
Yep, I saw
Unfortunately,
that.
I got these little short 25 footers, but that's all I could get in the wire or one of the colors. And I got all the wires now. So I'll start cutting wire and building kits tomorrow and send it. I'm going to send one out to you guys. I'm going to have you send me
Awesome.
a thing.
I need
have you guys
artwork, too,
build
for
them
the
and we'll
website.
test them. You want me to build
Yeah.
your Toroid first?
Please.
So I have to build two, I guess.
If you want to see a ham cry,
Yeah.
watch
Man.
Jim wind a toroid.
Well, if you want to see a ham cry, watch Jim wind a toroid and then put the picture in our private Discord, and then it makes eight
And hear about it.
I shed a tear.
Ape's like,
Don't
you
forget
should have
to talk
just
about
sent that to me.
directions, too.
Now, what about the name? What is the name of this? What
I don't know. You guys get into the
Poltergeist?
name thing.
Hold on a second. Let me go check let me consult the
I
documentation.
think I know what it was, but
Chuck, you got some of that wire handy?
Which
I
wire?
got outvoted.
Oh,
on
The orange and black.
Oh, yeah. Let me go grab it. I'll be right back.
Get your
We were
wire,
calling
sexy.
it the
Chip Chop,
I had-
son.
I could have done that, Chuck. Look at that.
I'm looking
see?
at the thing and I don't
Randy
The
got
unfed
stuck. He
random
said
wire
easy
kit.
tonight.
This thing says Aphrodite, but y'all poo-pooed on that, and we
Oh
changed
yeah,
it.
I
dropped
liked
a
it.
giant turd on Aphrodite.
I like that.
Really?
Yeah. Where'd Chuck
No.
go?
Yeah,
Aries,
he went to go get some wire to show off what we're working on. here.
Aries, Vulcan. Pick
It's the
hammer
Aries.
names.
Aries. A-R-E-S. I just
Not the
changed
Love Shack.
You,
I mean,
you do understand
Aphrodite's
there's like a
they sell sex
theme
toys.
here.
it. Right.
Well, Aries.
Jim, how do you
Vulcan.
know that?
What? I know all them
Adult
Greek
sex
gods and
toys.
the Roman ones too.
No, you
Zeus,
just dropped something
Jupiter.
about adult sex toys. What are you talking about?
Well, the thing
Hell,
is
it'd be
like
better to call it
Jim is from
Uranus.
one of these 70s swinger types where they used to talk about their, I'm
a
a
swinger.
Libre. I'm a
You could call
Libre.
it
and-
Uranus. That would be a better choice than Aphrodite. Just saying.
So
Capricorn.
So here is one of the
Oh,
wires.
that's sexy.
So this,
Me and Big-
I said this in one of my videos that this gives me 3 of the parts already ready to go. So, and we went with orange, and that's
Scott,
purely
that's
to
sexy.
purely make it easy on Chuck, so I can tell because this has different amount of wire on this one. And I already did one up. It's not to spec
Thanks,
yet,
T-Ray.
but
T-Ray.
Smokes, it's time to dance.
He needs some milk.
Thank you,
QMM.
T-Ray. You all right, son? Cabin
Thank you
13
very
in
much.
August, brother. We'll be there. Well, I'll be there. I don't know about Sparky, but
so
We'll figure something out.
I did one up with just some wire I had laying around. And the dang thing is good enough to use on at least 3 of the bands. Actually, 4. I think
Without
6
a tuner. A 9-to-1 is designed
without a
to
tuner.
use with
Without a tuner.
But it does happen to accidentally be resonant on some bands, yes.
Yes, and even on 6
With the
meter
counterpoise.
was like 2 point. Yeah, it did have the counterpoise. It was 2.3, I think, on 6 meter. So I mean, I'd use that still.
So Darren's got a great question. And I think there's a great answer for this. First off, it's just a tiny, just a skosh more compact. And if you have a
Yes.
radio that's got a built-in tuner, you can tune a variety of bands as opposed to just 4 bands on an end-fed half wave
Right.
or whatever you happen to link on a link dipole. All antennas are great antennas. Absolutely no complaints whatsoever. But there are benefits to every single antenna, and that's just the ones for a random wire.
woo.
Oh, thank you, Don.
Don, you all right, man?
All right, there was a question. I
He needs
forget
some milk.
who was the question. If he's talking about this wire, this is 22 gauge, just like all of our other kits. And then you have what you end up is 3 colors of this solid core wire. And that's for the toy. And believe me, there's a reason there's 3 colors, because I did one the other
Yep.
day. My buddy called me right as I was getting ready to solder the wires, and I gotta look at that again.
Yeah,
I
it's a
totally
pain-
I
it's a
totally had it
pain.
wrong. So
It's
we're
such
trying
a
to make
pain
it
to
easy
do
for
it.
people. We went with the solid core wire. That's what Ape uses stranded sometimes too. It doesn't really matter as much, but the solid core stays on the toroid just a little bit better, so it'll be a little bit
Yeah.
ever for people to wrap.
So
trying to make
4-5's
it easy.
asking, which were the bands that it was resonant on?
Oh, you would ask me. I have to. 6 meters was like 2.3. Hang on just a second here,
Mine is
because I took photos.
Oh, okay, good. Mine is 34 and a half, 35 and a half feet,
So,
whatever that is. And it's
10
Yeah,
meters
that's-
was 1.38.
Yeah.
almost across the whole band.
Yep.
20 so 1.3 at 29.7, 1.37 at 2900, and then there's can you show that one now? There's the 10 meter band
Nope.
right there. Is it?
No, it's not focusing.
That's way out of focus, Charles.
You got to put it in front of your face.
Which is an improvement right
A little
there.
bit, little bit higher. A little bit higher. The other higher.
higher.
Now a little bit lower. Just to the left.
He's
The other
just
left.
messing with you.
So I know. And then on 28.5 is 1.5, and then 24.950 2.3. 21.300 2.7.
Nice, JT.
JT, that is a steal,
So
son.
it's-
I'm
it's-
going to report that to the FBI. Jesus.
Yeah, that's nice. But see, the thing is, it's not really resonant on those frequencies. It's resident. It's resonicious. Resonicious.
Resonicious?
I
like
like
that.
that word, resonicious. I'm going to
I
use
didn't
that.
do the.
It's
I didn't do the.
resonicious.
It's the SWR is good enough there, but the lowest SWR is not the resonant point of an antenna most of the time.
Right.
And 1.6 at 18, 130. 1.7 at 12, at 14, 250.
These are good numbers, though.
Yeah.
For an
10.1
antenna that's not
10 point-
supposed to be resonant.
I know. I've never put one. I've never actually. I've always just used a tuner. I've never looked at it before.
Yeah.
And then at 10.125 is 5.5. 7.250, 4.6. 3.800, 3.9.
See you, Ron.
Later on.
In
And then Darren is saying that at QRP, resonant counts. And that's absolutely true. At QRP,
Oh, yeah.
everything counts. If you go from 5 watts to 6 watts, it counts. But at like 19 watts to 20 watts, not as much as 5 to 6. Not as much
Kevin,
as 5
solid.
to 10.
Solid wire.
yeah, solid wire. What was solid wire?
The wire on the core is solid.
On the
the,
toroid wire,
the-
yeah.
Yes,
the
yes,
aerial.
not this wire. Not this wire. This is
Yeah.
the same wire
My
we
bad.
use on everything else,
didn't
except
specify.
it's orange. And that was just to make it easy on me. So when I grab a winder of wire, I know what I'm grabbing.
Yeah, I think mine is 34 and a half feet. I believe.
Probably
It's
not.
probably
Or
35. It's probably
35 and a half.
35 and a half. I was in that neighborhood.
So we
And
shot
it
for
is-
41.
You got stupid excellent SWRs down at
The swerves. My swerves are good.
He swears.
Swerves are fabulous
So
up at
we shot at 41
12,
because that's
15, 10, all those.
what's so the Apollo's 64ish. So you're saving about 20 feet if you're limited for space, and then if you do that in an inverted V.
But you
save
also
some more
you also
there.
can use it with a tuner on every freaking band from
Yep.
40 to 6.
Yep.
Right? You might even be able to go lower than 40.
No, I did every band.
That's what, well,
1.9. Now I'm not saying it's going to work great on those, but I tuned
Right.
every band.
right, getting a match and then radiating are a little bit different, right? But
Oh, it'll still radiate. I guarantee it.
I'm sure it will.
I'm going to
yeah.
contact you, Abe.
Well, see,
in
people say that
Nebraska.
a doublet is the absolute best antenna in ham radio, and it's not resonant by design.
Right.
So
Charles, Don wants to know, is that going to work as a receive only? Will it work
any
well?
any antenna. I don't know if it'll.
Yeah.
I mean, if you tune it, it'll probably work
Yeah.
better. The problem is, it's good for, like what Ape was saying, is for 40 and up. It's probably pretty good. From 80, anything lower than 40, it's going to be on the short side. It'll still work, but it
Yeah,
might
but
be.
it's going to kick ass on 40 and higher.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
the
but there's ways to
somebody-
fix that.
somebody was asking a question. I can't remember what it was. and I
Hey,
gotta go
David,
find
good
it.
evening.
It was about using it for receive only. It's very common for like Newelec actually sells a 9-to-1 and it's very common to use a 9-to-1 on like SDR for
Because
receive
it's
only.
getting most of your bands pretty close.
Yeah.
So if you tune a little bit, it'll be a little bit better probably.
Very good. Steve, what kind of projects you got happening?
I got a new audio dingus that I'm working on that's going to get
dingus.
your typical 2-meter radio onto APRS or help out with your all-star repeaters. So
A new dingus? Is this
A
going to
new
be a
dingus.
Nuggets episode one night or?
it's going to be a drop first, but then we might do something
Okay.
else. I don't know.
Okay. What about you, Ape? You got your fans fixed. I saw that today. Very good. Yours sounds worse than mine by far, by the way. That thing was...
Yeah, well, the thing is like I was using it in the upstairs ham shack, and when I would turn it on, the old lady is constantly like, "What is that noise? What's going on?" And,
Did she make that face?
No.
What is going on?
it was loud, but it would go down after a while, and then I figured it was just time to replace it. But tomorrow I'm going to start taping. I have a big old battery over there, like the kind that'll give you a hernia when you pick it up, and
300.
No, it's 100 watt. It's just big. I mean, 100 ampere. And I got to start working on that tomorrow. But the thing is that you have to spend a whole day charging the battery, then a whole day discharging the battery. Then the next day you spend a whole day charging the battery up. and then you got to do the load test on it, and that takes another couple hours on day 4. So I'll be tied up with that. We'll see how it goes.
I'm planning on swapping out fans in my my MFJ power supply. It's got 2, and I may bring it back in here. It got delegated to tertiary power supply when it started making so much dang noise.
I think I can talk about this. I got this. I've been playing around with.
Oh,
It's
nice.
it's a Retivus. It's a
Let me
Retivus
pull that up.
GMRS radio,
Oh,
GMRS.
and this mic is beefy. So
Yeah, it is.
it's because that's your user interface.
yeah,
So there's nothing on the radio at all. Just a box.
nothing. Just on the
It's like
back.
that, it's like that Vero.
Yeah.
So on the back, you got your power cord thing, which the end it plugs in here is a cigarette port adapter, and then your antenna, and then it has a speaker jack. See it right? I don't know how to get this right. There's a speaker jack over here. You see it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's also where the programming cable goes. So you got to program it. One of the things about this GMRS radio and a lot of other ones, it comes with CTCS tones already programmed into it, which I don't like that, right? Because the thing is that like if I have any of the handheld HTs for GMRS, I can't talk to them without
Unless it's the same
Settings.
brand, maybe.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, a lot of people are like,
Sometimes those aren't.
oh, it's no big deal. You just hook that up to the computer. When I make that video, there will be 1 million people. I can't get that cord to recognize on my computer. My Windows 7 won't and it's not as easy as it sounds. You know what I'm saying? For some folks.
Yeah.
I also got I'm going to do a couple videos. I bought this thing here. I showed this to Ape the other day. It's a shunt.
It's
And
awesome.
It's going to go in my, I've got a box that has 2 36 amp hour Miatis in it. And I run my my electric fridge, my off-roading fridge. I've got 2 of those. And I run that off of it. So I want to know where my battery's at. When I went to Arizona, it seemed to be charging all the way up, but I never knew for sure. So I'm going to do that. I'm also going to install a small inverter, and that little box is going to run. It might actually end up running a rotator. You got to say it right. If you say rotor, it's wrong. Rotator that I have like for TV antennas that I may start taking with me for my hex beam and stuff, so I could sit inside and turn it. So the inverter will help me turn that, because unfortunately that one is it's electric. It's like 110.
It's 110.
Oh yeah, what is
Uh,
the
your-
rotator is?
Your rotor.
But not the one I made before. That's 12 volt, but it's not heavy duty enough for that hex beam. It's good enough for smaller antennas. And then I also have this that I got sent to evaluate as a battery tester. So I figured all good hams should have a battery tester, right?
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah,
So
nice.
we'll see how that thing works.
What brand is that?
I'm
Charlie?
waiting for that video.
This is
If you can say that. If you're not under non-disclosure agreement for pre-product announcements.
I didn't think that, they told me they were going to send it, and it never showed up, and then it showed up all of a sudden. And
So
my
that's
wife's
a
like,
tester,
"What the
not-
heck
not
did
just
you-"
a charger.
This is a tester, not a charger. I don't see a brand name on it.
Does it do lithium?
I haven't. You know what?
See you, Dan.
I opened it to show you the picture of it the other day. And that's all I've done.
Dan, have a good evening,
You
man.
I'll have to see.
Well,
Laundry.
chip chop, Charles. I like saying
Easy.
that.
Yeah, we're out of
Charles.
time here. We're out of time.
I'll let you
Oh.
guys know
Yeah,
when I do the
okay.
video.
Oh, yeah, hell, we are. Guys, I'm going to hit the button. Y'all have a great evening. We appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody. Had a
Super
great time.
chats. Thank
Thanks,
you for your
everybody.
support.
Thanks
I'll
for
have
those
a good
great
evening.
super chats, guys.
Yeah,
Thank y'all. It was fantastic. It was fun.
Great show.